Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, we have a very, very serious show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as you all know, this John Morant situation is unlike anything we've seen in the NBA in the past 20 years. Not with a star of his magnitude, right? We've had some guys that got into trouble in the NBA, but no one with the public profile of a John Morant. No one with a signature shoe with Nike. No one that had the potential to be the face of the league. Not at this level, right? It's actually unprecedented for this particular league. All of you now at this point are aware of the litany of incidents that has brought us to the present moment we are in right now. As we currently speak, all of us are patiently waiting to see how many games the NBA is going to suspend John Morant for his latest incident. Prior to that, he did a sit down with Jalen Rose, expressed how sorry he felt, even said, "That's not me." Right? He seemed to be contrite. And the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, believed him when they met, just to find out that, in fact, it wasn't the case. Today, we had already finished wrapping up all of our content. And I was just surfing YouTube, listening to various videos, various shows. And a video was suggested to me from the Rick Eisen show. And immediately, as soon as I read the headline, I immediately clicked on it. And this particular show, it featured calling guest Stephen A. Smith. Now, I assume they were talking about a range of things, but in this particular clip, the headline of the clip absolutely jarred me. So what we want to do is, we want to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say in his report to Rick Eisen. And then we're going to come back and get into the show. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here.
The comments from Adam Silver about John Morant's investigation being essentially wrapped up, finding additional subject matters that were so, I guess one would assume, egregious that they decided to wait until the finals are over to announce a suspension for Morant out of respect for the finals and the players playing in it. Your thoughts on that?
I think John Morant's in some trouble. There are certain things that we can speak on, and there's certain things we can't. What we can speak on is the fact that the incidences that he has found himself in, getting into a fight with a high schooler, allegedly coming out of his house with a gun to confront the high schooler, having a friend of his in his company, and they had an issue with some Indiana Pacers personnel, and then you saw some red laser dot pointing at somebody. There was another incident in a club. There was stuff in the strip club with him waving a gun. And then there's another one where he's on Instagram Live and one of his friends put him on Instagram Live. And, again, you see him waving a gun, stuff like that. Adam Silver feels betrayed. Adam Silver feels like John Morant looked him in the face, told him one thing and did another. And all I could say to John Morant is that he is very lucky that Adam Silver is the commissioner of the NBA and not the late, great David Stern. Because had it been David Stern, it wouldn't have been just an 8-game suspension the first go-round. It would have been much stiffer than that. And had it been David Stern, we might be looking at lawsuits and all of this other stuff because David Stern would have tried to turn around and suspend him for the entire season next year. That's how David Stern rolls, and I'm telling the truth about that, Rich Eisen. In the case of Adam Silver, I don't suspect he'll go that far. I don't think it'll be the entire season, of course. I don't think it'll even be half the season. I anticipate it to be 25 games, and those 25, something along those lines, to send a message, to try to provide a deterrent for other players to engage in similar behavior. But there are other things, like I said, we can't speak of in terms of John Morant's behavior off the court. some of the things that he finds himself engaged in with the company that he keeps, with the establishments that he visits, things of that nature. And obviously he feels compelled pretty much all the time to have a gun around him. And so that brings into question all of those things that I just mentioned that, again, I'm not at liberty to speak on, but I can tell you this. I'm from the streets of New York City, and a lot of players I know are from the streets, period. And I can tell you that people within the NBA community are not just concerned about Ja Morant playing basketball. They're concerned about whether or not he's going to be alive in 5 years because of the environments that he finds himself around and the situations he finds himself confronted by. It's a serious matter, and it's something that I think that the NBA and everybody that knows anything about the kind of things that are going on with him find themselves concerned about.
Wow. That's a jaw dropper, Stephen A. I'm not going to lie.
So you heard Stephen A. Smith's comment that many people in NBA circles fear that Ja Morant might be dead in 5 years. This is a serious issue on many levels. The first level is that it's a very serious issue for Ja Morant because it's his life we're talking about. The other level is that it's a serious societal issue that we have here. It's a serious one. As someone, as a young kid who grew up in the Bronx, New York, later moved to Yonkers, I understand the way the youth think because I used to be one of them. I used to be ignorant. Give you guys a quick story. One day I was in junior high going to school. And in the Bronx, PS 37. And I was walking to school. And at the time I might have seen in a video, it must have been in a rap video at the time because it was on social media then. And I must have seen stuff about gangs. And this day I was going to school and I had a blue bandana in my pocket going to school. I knew nothing about what that meant. All I know was that I saw these guys doing it. They look cool. So I'm going to do it too. Go to school. One or two people were like, yo, what's good with that? What's good with that? Didn't know what they were talking about. Walking home. I didn't live too far from my school. I was walking home and one kid, he was a bigger kid than me. I remember him kind of slim, a little bit taller than me, and I think he had braid. For sure he had a fitted on because in New York back then we used to wear fitteds a lot. And he came up to me and he said, yo, what's good with that flag in your pocket? And I was like, what? Now I must have been 13, probably 12, 13. And when he said that to me, I was like, what is he talking about? This is my ignorance. All I knew was that I wanted to be cool. And the dude goes, yo, that flag can get you effed up. Take it out of your pocket. He goes, this means you part of this gang. And at that very moment, I was like, wait, what? That's what I was showing? That's what I was portraying? That's the type of energy I was attracting without knowing? So what did I do? I took it out of my pocket because that wasn't my intention. I thought I was just being cool. That's what I thought. Took it out of my pocket, started getting educated. The older I got, the more I understood, okay, this dude is in this gang. I had many friends in gangs, so many. Went to high school, so many. My whole entire school was Crip. My whole entire school. Few Bloods in there, but the entire school was Crip. And I understood that, wait a minute. This is not something I want to do. I went to art and design. We here because we drawing. I'm in this school because I came to draw. I didn't come here to show you I'm so-and-so because I'm not. That's not who I am. I then think about John Morant. I'm going to talk about this on two levels. I don't know John Morant from nowhere. Like Lil Wayne said, y'all don't know that boy. Meaning none of us don't know him. I don't know anything about his upbringing because I wasn't there. You don't know nothing about his upbringing because you wasn't there. It's all based on what you heard, what you read. But what I do know about John Morant is that John Morant is a basketball player that plays basketball for the NBA, in the NBA. Earning millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. One of the 450 spots. John Morant owns that spot. He's not competing in practice for his spot, nothing. He owns that because he earned it. You then get to that echelon in society. You get there. But there's still this lure. There's still this sexiness. There's still this attraction about being gangster, about being thugged out, about still looking at these guys and like, yo, they're cool. And then what happens? You try to imitate these people. You try to do what they're doing, forgetting that that's a totally different world you want no parts of. You see, I stared into the abyss. And when the abyss looked back at me, I blinked. I was like, nah, this is not for me. This is not for me. But there are people that stare into that abyss. And when the abyss looks back at them, they don't blink. Meaning they all for it. They are all for it. And let me tell you something. The minute you try to step one foot into that world, there is no coming back out. There is no coming back out. Because for some of those people, this is not a fad. They're not trying to look any type of way. This is their life that you're trying to imitate. This is their life that you're trying to imitate. And those dudes ain't playing with you. They're not playing. You won't outduel these people. You can't. Do you know why? Even if you have all the money in the world, it's still just one you. It's still just one you. If you get involved in that, it's a wrap, cuzzo. I'm going to say something else to John Morant. For the people that understand what I'm saying, you get it. If you don't understand, that means you don't understand. John Morant, be on the lookout for the jokes. Somebody trying to shake your hand, yo, I'm going to try to talk to you and be on the lookout. Peep that clearly. You looking like food to these dudes. Food. For Stephen A. Smith, for him to report such a story, given his stature in the media, sports media world, for him to report this story, it means it's true. Because why would you go out there and say something like that that could definitely damage your reputation if it wasn't true? And if it is true, we got a big problem. We got a very, very big problem. Not just for Ja, but for us as dudes, as young dudes. I don't even know how to describe it. When are we going to come off the BS? When is the BS going to stop looking cool to us dudes, man? Why is it that the BS is what attracts so many of us? Why? Why? Why do so many of us love this idea of proving that I'm tough, that I'm real? Why? Why do we spend more time trying to prove that we're tough than less time trying to prove that we're successful or prove that we're smart? Why is that the go-to want-to-be thing in our reality? I'm talking to the people that know who I'm talking to. Why? Why is this our crowning achievement in our lives? Why? What's the lure about it? What's the lure? It's a fruitless endeavor. Totally fruitless. Totally. We're not building our communities. How the hell are you going to build your communities when you're not making any money to build your communities? How? How are you going to build your communities when we're fighting? How's it going to work? I'm not talking about blacks. I'm talking about all over the world. Wherever there's fighting, where is there building? There's no building anywhere when people are going back and forth with each other's necks. We got to stop focusing on things that are getting us nowhere. If you're having a conversation with somebody, you should be able to understand what that person is all about just based on their conversation. And if their conversation is not about ideas, if it's not about improvement, whether it's self-improvement, if it's not about making some damn money, you need to get the hell away from these people. Because this is a fruitless conversation. We need a shift. In my personal opinion, this is just me. I think the only time it will change is when Jesus himself from heaven comes down. I believe we're that far gone. This is just me as somebody that grew up, experienced it, looking at it, understands it. This is what I believe. There has to be a shift in the focus. Literally. There has to be a shift. The things that we value need to change. The image that we're trying to create needs to change. How it's even possible that Ja Morant finds himself even connected to stories like this lets you know just how powerful of a pull it can happen to anybody. No matter how high up you are, no matter how low down you are, it can happen to you. The pull is that strong. I just pray that this doesn't end up being a cautionary tale. I sincerely pray. I was even looking at one of the titles of another show from the Rick Eisen show, and he's saying he doesn't predict Ja Morant playing in the NBA until 2024. In my personal view, I think Ja needs to go away for like a very long time. Seriously. If I'm even Ja Morant, I'm considering changing states. Yes. I would say, listen, I think you guys should trade me to another team for obvious reasons. Send me to a state where there's no drama. Send me to the state where the most activity you hear is some firecrackers going off in somebody's farm or something like. Seriously. Send me to the most boring place in the United States where I can play basketball where there's no drama. Seriously. There's so much more to look forward to in life. There's so many things to be excited about than to be caught up in this nonsense. Like there's literally more to this world. A lot more to this world than this. And I pray that Ja Morant realizes this. And for the young dudes watching this video, for the young dudes that are still caught in between of what direction you want to go in life, I hope you guys head towards positivity. I really do. Not just for yourselves, but for your future generations. I really hope you do. There's more to life than negativity. There's more. There's more to life than negativity. These are my thoughts, man.